Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we check in with the Fleet Services Department. My guest today is Corey Mellis, Director with the Ames Fleet Services Department. Corey, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, you've been with the city several years now in several different roles. Tell me a little bit about your career here.
When I first started at the City of Ames about 11 years ago, I started in the engineering department and held a couple of positions there. And then I moved into the public works operations, the maintenance side of public works. And from there, I've moved on to the Fleet Services Department.
In your background, you're actually a civil engineer?
Correct. I'm a licensed engineer for the state of Iowa. So my background was in engineering, and then the opportunity at Fleet Services seemed like a good fit for where I wanted to go with my career. So that's where I went.
And it's actually bigger than fleet. You're fleet and facilities, so you do a lot of bigger projects surrounding improvements to the various facilities that we have here at the city.
Correct. Directly responsible for City Hall and the maintenance facility where Fleet Services and Public Works operations is housed, and then also assist all other departments in the city with building needs as needed.
Now, City Hall, which celebrated 25 years, I believe this past April, that's about the time that some maintenance issues come up. I know there's been roofing projects, been some remodeling. Talk to me a little bit about some of the bigger projects since you've been heading that.
Yes, since I started, we finished up the second part of the police renovation, so that is complete, where we renovated the police department, removed the jail, redid their offices and gave them more usable space. And now we're also running into a lot of the 25-year-old maintenance items like the roof, which will be replaced this summer. Not very visible, but very important for the building.
One thing that might be more visible for guests to City Hall would be some parking lot improvements planned for this late summer.
Yes, so the plan is it's out for bid now to reconstruct Lot M, which is the west lot. That is mostly for city employee parking, but there's also some customer parking and at-night parking for people in the downtown area. And so during that reconstruction, there'll be a lot of stormwater improvements with pervious pavers and bioswales and rain gardens in the parking lot, but we'll also kind of disrupt parking in the area for maybe 2 to 3 months. So we want to make people aware that we hope to keep most public parking open, but because of all the changes, they might see different patterns to get in and out of the parking lot and when they can use them.
So the parking lot directly west of City Hall, that back entrance will still be open, and Lot MM, which is, most people might associate that with the lot closest to the Veterans Memorial, that will remain just how it is.
Yes, it will remain. The couple spaces will have to be taken out to kind of do a temporary access during certain phases so we can get access to all the parking stalls there. Lot M will be reconstructed probably in halves, but because of all the city employee parking, it'll be mostly used up by that. We've also kind of came up with a plan to get city employees other spaces besides MM, so that's still open for our customers.
So the metered parking, which is maybe what the public have used to get very close to the building, they'll have access to half of what they typically would have had?
Probably not. We'll probably take all the meters out just during the construction. It'd be too hard to leave the meters in, so we'll probably just use it for city employee, but they'd still have 5th Street where they can park at the meters, and also Lot N, which is on the east side of the building, while not as close, does have metered parking that they can park on.
So if you're one of those participants in an exercise class, or you bring a lot of children with you, you might want to be looking at 5th Street, as you said, was also metered, and then right directly to the east. Still fairly close to community center entrances.
Those would probably be the best options for the public coming for Parks and Rec classes, things like that. And then we'll probably work with Parks and Rec to make sure we get out the information and let people know what their options are during their class times.
So some subtle changes just to the front of City Hall, which I noticed. Some of the decorative brickwork has been replaced by less slippery, more customer friendly, it looks like stamped concrete.
So we worked to replace the front entrance. Being 25 years old in the bricks, we were seeing some tripping hazards and things like that. So we worked and just did it all in concrete, but worked with the contractor to kind of put back the same pattern, the diamond pattern, but kind of in a more safe manner, and also kind of lowered some of the curb areas so it's easier to walk on.
And there's beautiful new planters.
Yes, we wanted to kind of spruce it up a little bit to add some color to the front of City Hall, so we bought some planters that we put on the edge.
One of the projects that you were working on, which might seem a little unusual for somebody in your position, but it's a holdover from your days in the Public Works Department, is some recent improvements that are being basically tried out along Welch Avenue. Tell me about that project.
So that project started 3 years ago. We had a request about looking at biking and pedestrians in Campus Town. So we did a survey and we came up with several ideas for projects. Had a lot of community discussion and a focus group to look at all these different projects. Council moved forward with several of the projects, like there's better signage for parking in Campus Town that incorporates the Campus Town logo. There was radar detection put on some of the signals that can pick up bikers in the street much better. So those projects moved forward. Council also directed us to look at closing the parking on the east side of Welch Avenue in the 100 and 200 block. And the thought process behind that was because of the lights are in the street, there's really no opportunity for a bike lane or a cycle track or anything like that. But we did hear from bikers if there wasn't parked cars in that area because they're going downhill, maybe at a higher speed, that they'd feel more safe. And then we also saw it as an opportunity to improve kind of the pedestrian gathering space in Campus Town. And we're calling this a pilot project because in 4 years, Welch Avenue will be reconstructed. So hopefully we can gain some good knowledge on Welch Avenue.
And you're looking at Welch Avenue really to Chamberlain or beyond?
This will go beyond Chamberlain, basically the 200 block, kind of to the access to the old Battles driveway. So it'll kind of stop there, about Hunt Street. It'll stop there. So all that parking, about 11 spaces, will go away during the pilot. And we'll block them off with planters. But council also gave us some funding for street furniture so we can hopefully make it more enticing for people to maybe stay and kind of treat it like an extended sidewalk.
So in the 3 years since you started this project, so much has changed in that Campus Town area. Did you envision those kinds of improvements when you started this?
We kind of we knew about the Kingland project for sure at that point, and that's kind of why it's taken so long for this project. We wanted them to be completely done before we started. But yeah, there are some changes with businesses and leadership in the Campus Town Action Association, but I think they're still very supportive, and we've gotten a lot of support from them to move forward.
And you're looking at the east side, which is the fire station side, correct?
Correct.
And the fire station, who sometimes have problems with all the activity going on there, getting those trucks out, are they in favor of this? Do they think it'll help with them, with their access?
It should help with their access because there'll be no one parking or pulling out, and they'll kind of be tapered, so they should be able to pull out faster, not have to worry about cars or car doors, kind of like the bikers worry about. Cyride, the same issue. Welch Avenue can be pretty tight with the parked cars, and so I think this will help kind of everybody because we're not really, making the lanes any narrower. We're just kind of take the parking spaces only and work in that space.
So what's the time frame? When can we see some kind of activity?
We've ordered the planters. We expect those to be here in about 4 to 6 weeks, and then we'll install the planters when they get here and plant them, and then hopefully the furniture will arrive shortly after that. So by the end of the summer or before fall semester starts, we should have everything in place.
Well, just probably the time you'd want to be sitting out and enjoying a beverage or just enjoying the sights.
Yes.
Well, Corey, it sounds like you got a lot on your plate, a lot of really exciting projects.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it, and we'll be in touch with people, letting our customers know how it affects them as we go forward.
Great. If you want more information about things happening at the City of Ames, like these projects, make sure to check out our website at cityofames.org. Also remember, if you're looking for things to do this summer, don't forget Ames Municipal Band Shell concerts have started. The Municipal Band takes the stage at 8, usually a pre-concert at around 7 p.m. And don't forget, Thursday, June 23rd is City Council Night at the Band Shell, where you can enjoy some cool, refreshing Ames water and a cookie from your favorite Ames City Council member. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.